Welcome to Pennies from Kevin with your host, Kevin Ross, progressive coaching for a better life.
Today on the Pennies from Kevin podcast, I want to talk about life and following instructions. Following instructions and how we can make our lives so much easier. What does that mean? Well, think about it. You know how you get a TV stand and it has a million pieces when you take it out the box, and then there's that white paper that says instructions at the top. Are you one of those people who takes that piece of paper and puts it to the side and says, I can figure this out. I could do this on my own. I've done this so many times. I can do this without reading the instructions. Chances are you go through it, spend a lot of time trying to figure it out, and you almost always, if not always, get it wrong. It would have been so much easier if you had followed the instructions, because now you have to follow them anyway. You got to take apart what you did and then read the instructions, and now you spent twice the amount of time to do something that would have taken you half the time. That's what following the instructions is about from that perspective. But when you really think about it, following the instructions goes even deeper than that. From a spiritual, psychological, physical, whatever standpoint, following the instructions. If I don't feel like doing something, say, for example, I don't like my job and I don't feel like going to work, and I do that enough, or I feel that way enough times, I'm getting spiritual, psychological, and mental instruction that's telling me what I'm doing is not working for me and I need to do something else. But then I let emotions get involved. That's what stops us. I think to myself, well, how am I going to pay the rent next month? Or how am I going to find a job? Or I'm too old, or this is not the best time to look for work. We come up with excuse after excuse, when the truth is that every time we do that, another day, another week, another month, another year is wasted. Nothing is impossible. There's always a way to get something accomplished. We need to do something and we know it, but we always talk ourselves out of it when we involve emotion. Emotions can play some really dirty tricks on us because they make us blind to what is true. You have no idea how the end result of something will come out or turn out until you actually do it. You cannot predict what will happen with other people or the situation. While you're thinking, for example, with that job, well, I hate this job, but I need to keep it because I have bills to pay and I can't leave. Well, if you really think about it, that is actually the way most jobs are set up. Intentionally, they pay you just enough so that you can't leave and can't stay. You have to stay in order to pay your bills, but you can't leave because you can't afford the gaps. It is up to you to understand that. What if I get a job that pays me more? What if I take my vacation and go look for work? You have to look for other options. Those are where your instructions are. That's where you remove the emotions when you say things like, I'll take a vacation and then I'll go and look for a job that entire week. Or I'll take a few days off and go and look for a job. Or I'll start sending out applications online. There are no emotions involved in those decisions. But there are emotions involved in, how am I going to eat? What am I going to do? How am I going to pay the rent? Those emotions are what stop us from getting to the next level. When it comes to people, if you get a bad feeling about someone, those are spiritual instructions that you're in trouble, you're in danger, and that you need to make a decision as to how to handle that situation. Usually that decision is to part ways with that person. It's not to keep giving them more and more chances and to put yourself at risk repeatedly. If there's a situation where your body is aching, if you're having constant headaches, or if you're constantly stressed out, or if you're gaining a lot of weight or losing a lot of weight, or you don't feel well, those are instructions to go to the doctor. You take the emotions out, the ones that say, oh, I don't really have time, or I don't have the best insurance, or, there's nothing wrong. I think everything is okay. No, those are not wise decisions. Those are your emotions that make you think that you can make the decision on your own for something that is clear and precise. You need to follow the instructions. And those instructions are, I need to go get this checked out. No matter what I'm thinking, no matter what I'm feeling, I don't know. I need to go to the instructor. I need to go to the instructor, who is the doctor, to find out what is going on. I need to follow the instructions and go to the instructor. I am not an instructor. I am not a doctor, so I don't know what's going on. When it comes to your finances, you don't know anything until you explore it. The instructions are, how do I learn about investing? How do I learn about retirement? How do I learn about 401ks? Those are instructions, very cut and dry. You figure out a way to learn it. When you say things like, I don't have enough money to invest, or I don't want to waste my money, or I don't trust financial advisors, those are all emotions again. Emotions come in handy. It doesn't mean that you can never use them, but just know how to use them. When it comes to making decisions, when you're trying to elevate yourself to a higher level, you have to take the emotions out and understand the instructions, whether they are physical, spiritual, psychological, whatever. You get instructions for everything. When you come to a red light, there's an instruction to stop. When you're driving and you're approaching a yellow light, there are two ways to look at it. You can tell yourself, I can beat that light. But the thing is, you don't know what's coming on either side. Or you could tell yourself, oh, it's time to stop. The light's about to turn red. The latter is the instruction. The instruction is, the light is yellow, it's about to turn red. The emotion is, oh, it's yellow, I can beat that light. There you go again, where your emotions can get you in trouble. You could lose your life in that instance. So understand how and when it's best to follow the instructions and remove the emotion, and you'll get a lot more accomplished. And stop fighting against yourself. Stop worrying about other people's feelings and how they will perceive you and how they would handle the situation. You don't need to debate it with anybody. You don't need to discuss it. When you don't feel like doing something and it's not in your heart to do it, don't do it. When you do feel like doing something and it's in your heart to do it, do it. No discussion, no debating, no going back and forth, no telling yourself that you can't do it. Just do it. You must understand when your emotions can get you in trouble and the hidden meaning behind your emotions. For example, your emotions behind the yellow light situation where you think you can beat the light are actually based on, I can get away with something. I can do this without being caught. I can have some fun. Also, when it comes to seeing the doctor and thinking or telling yourself, I'm okay, there's nothing really wrong, the hidden emotion behind that is, I'm terrified of finding out what's wrong. That's really what you're saying to yourself, and you're making excuses. So in essence, make sure that whatever your emotion is, that there's no excuse that follows it. If there's an excuse that follows it, like, I don't want to cut this person off that treats me like crap because they're funny, that is really what the situation is. That is the part that we're ignoring, and that's the part that's going to get us in trouble, instead of saying, oh, they're not that bad or everything's fine. So in essence, make sure that you understand that in those situations where your emotions are being used to cover something that is more important, that you have to look at the root of why you feel the way that you do. Follow me on Pennies from Kevin at Instagram and Pennies from Kev on Twitter. Thank you for listening to Pennies from Kevin. I'm Kevin Ross.
Progressive coaching for a better life. This is Pennies from Kevin.